what's up? I am muchelleb. This video is part of my Self-Love 101 series, which is a series full of actual, real, practical things that you can do to up your self-love vibes. And in this video, I want to talk about building a self-care emergency kit. This is something that I have seen around on Pinterest, the self-care emergency kit. I tried trawling through all of those self-care kits. Maybe they weren't emergency kits, but when I clicked on them, it was a lot of like, there's your nail polish, some trashy magazines, a good movie, that kind of thing. I guess this self-care emergency kit is more catered to like those times when you are genuinely in a state when you're feeling all of the negative feelings and you're just feeling so overwhelmed. Your kit doesn't have to be a literal box with stuff in it, although it absolutely can, and I think that can be really helpful. Having something physical to reach out for and have in your hands that will help you through this is really helpful. This video is brought to you by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is affordable, private online counseling where you can have access to licensed, accredited therapists. I will talk a little bit more about them later. One of the first things that you should reach for in your self-care emergency kit are self-compassion worksheets, because feeling bad about feeling bad is the worst cycle ever. But it's also something that we all struggle with. We live in a culture that openly praises positive, happy vibes and smothers any sign of negativity or sadness. People who have learnt to get comfortable with any negative emotions have been shown to be more psychologically healthy, and they're better able to regulate their moods, so less mood swings. So as part of your emergency self-care kit, you can have some self-compassion worksheets that will guide you through that process of accepting your emotions. I'm going to link the most basic of worksheets below that you can work off, but you could also create your own kind of self-compassion worksheet for yourself. It's just about having something that's there ready for you. You don't have to think about. It's physically in front of you, and you can just go through those prompts easily to start accepting your emotions. The second thing that is important for your self-care emergency kit is ready to make food. In the past few years, I've had a few times where I've gotten to a point where I'm like panicked throughout my whole body, or I am like crying, and it's kind of over nothing. It'll just be like this random attack, like someone's just thrown a mood at my body and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm dealing with, what's going on. And then I'll eat some food and I'll feel about 1,000 times better. I have gone down the road of forcing myself to peel up vegetables and chop things up while I've been really upset, because I know how much nutrition is going to help me, and that just isn't the ideal thing to be doing when you're in that state. So my recommendation would be to have some ready-made food handy that is canned, long-lasting, that you can reach for at any point in time. It's just always there. Regardless of what you end up with, you want something that takes extremely little effort to put together. All you should be doing is heating the food up, and it should have at least a little bit of nutrition in it, so you don't want to be grabbing out like a bowl of goreng, although honestly, if you're absolutely desperate, that can do. The next thing that you should have in your self-care emergency kit is a go-to meditation, if meditation is something that works for you. Pick the meditation when you're in a good frame of mind. Pick something that you know future you, potential future you, will benefit from, and put it in a place that you will remember, that is easy to access. So you want to take all of the decision making that is required in that scenario, remove it, and then make the action as easy as possible to do. The next thing in your self-care emergency kit should be a pre-decided, trusted person to talk to. Sadly, this is not something that you can put in a box. When it comes to deciding on a person that you can trust to talk to when you're down, it is a big decision, because there are friends that you might hold dearly. They might be the best friends in the world, but they may not be the best person to talk to when you're feeling really down. Maybe they can't quite relate, they can't quite understand. So having someone pre-decided that you're going to talk to makes it a lot easier, to make sure that you don't make the mistake of going to someone who might actually make you feel worse in the long run. If you're looking for someone who is completely impartial, which is always helpful, and is also a licensed therapist, you can use a website like BetterHelp. BetterHelp is affordable, private, online counseling where you can get access to counselors who are fully accredited, trained, licensed. They're LGBTQ plus friendly, and they are also really good for couples counseling. To sign up, you can use the link below, which is tryonlinetherapy.com/muchelleb. I've gone through the process myself. So basically you're answering a few questions about where your emotional state is right now, what kind of things you're struggling with, how your day-to-day life is, and then they'll match you with a therapist who is right for you. A platform like BetterHelp is something that I really support. I think there are just so many good things about having accessible online counseling. Going to an in-person therapist is a really intimidating thing to do. It's something that I've been through myself. I find that I get quite overwhelmed. There's always a lot of anxiety before actually going to therapy. Even like the drive there and sitting outside and like walking into this person's office. The last time that I actually accessed in-person counseling, I was sitting in a room, and no joke, there were like 5 people outside of the room and I could hear them the entire time. And all I could think about was like, oh God, these people can hear me right now. Whereas with a service like BetterHelp, that's not really something that you're going to worry about. You get to choose when you talk to them. Doesn't even have to be a video session. If you're not comfortable with that, you can be messaging them for a session. You can be on the phone with them. Also, one of the greatest things about BetterHelp is that if you don't vibe with a therapist, you can switch to another therapist, and there's none of that sort of awkward, like, sorry, I probably won't be seeing you again type thing. It's cheaper than seeing an in-person therapist, and after 3 months, it gets even cheaper. Also, if money is an issue, you can see if you're eligible for a financial aid discount when you sign up. If you're in immediate danger, or you're considering suicide, or you're in a really serious crisis, BetterHelp probably isn't the best option. However, I will have a link below to some helpful resources. The next thing that you could have in your self-care emergency kit is reminders of times when you have overcome bad times, bad moods, low points in your life. Because sometimes to get yourself through whatever you're going through, you need to be reminded that you are absolutely capable of doing just that. And tangible evidence of having done it in the past is the best thing to convince yourself of that. Creating a little journal or just a few pages of notes in your emergency kit, it's just really good evidence for your brain that, yeah, you can handle the emotions that you're going through right now, and you can handle the situation that you're going through right now. And the last thing for your self-care emergency kit is a list of 3 activities to do with step-by-step instructions on how to do said activities. Because sometimes when you are stuck in a bad place, you end up sitting in one place for a long period of time. Create a list of 3 activities, so there's only a few, not too many to choose from, so that you're not feeling overwhelmed, as well as all the little baby steps involved in getting that activity done. It's really important to get specific with this, so vague instructions like move your body, that's great, but when you're in a bad place, it's going to be really hard to interpret that as something actionable. Instead, right, go on a 5-minute walk down the block, and then write out, literally, get your running shoes, get your socks, put your socks on, put your shoes on. Whatever is involved in doing that task should be listed so that you can follow it so easily without having to think. So I'd love to hear your ideas of what kind of things you chuck in your emergency kit down in the comment section below. Don't forget to have a look at BetterHelp. I feel like it is a really great option for anyone who is considering getting some kind of therapy, but is just a little bit intimidated by the thought. I will have that link in the description below. If you liked this video and you'd like to build off of this video, another video that you might like is my things to do when you feel awful video, which is kind of like a little mini checklist, and you could use that to inspire your 3 things from this video, as well as even just have a checklist of this nature sitting in your self-care emergency kit. So I will have that linked on the screen and down below. I appreciate you guys so much. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you soon.